Colin, welcome to the program. Now, the latest figures are out on the arable yield. What can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, no, we've just done a bit of a summary of how the harvests went. So we do this every year to tally up what the yields have turned out like. So we've had probably one of our best years ever as far as this is talking about wheat. And we're 49% up on tonnes compared with the year before. So we've got a total of 103,000 tonnes of milling wheat. So that's to be made into bread mostly, or for flour. So that's, yeah, we're really wrapped that we've managed to get our yields back to normal. And the other neat figure, we've produced 62,000 tonnes of malting barley, and that's obviously made into beer. And that's a 69% increase. So that's another big increase from the previous year.
49%. I mean, that's a record number. Was that expected?
Yeah, no, definitely. The planting expectations were up. There's the other little factor that was going on. There was some of the contracting arrangements were changed with the different buying practices from the buyers, and the farmers actually didn't stack up profitability wise, and they went and grew other crops. So I guess we've all learned that we need to work together, and we've held lots of meetings to try and work out a better pricing structure. So any grain that was from last year that was in the free market, it certainly demanded a significant premium price. And so contracts have just come out this year for the 24 harvest. So normally we plant our wheat probably from April through to May. So most of the grain's in the ground. So we're looking ahead to 24 harvest now. So the contract prices have just come out. So they've come down a little bit. We don't like prices reducing, but it's I consider it to be sort of almost fair. Quite a few growers of course, you never like the prices to go down, but you've got to reflect the world situation, I suppose.
And I suppose it's very difficult to ask you or to answer this question, but are consumers likely to see any benefit from these this record yield?
A bit more stats about this. So essentially in the South Island we only grow enough wheat for the South Island market. So that's about 100,000 tonnes. So New Zealand consumes about another 250,000 tonnes, and normally that's imported from Australia. So the prices we're getting are roughly the world price. So just depends. The prices, and because we had the Ukrainian situation a whole year ago, so that's why prices spiked up. And then that's still playing out, but certainly there's been a really big harvest in Australia last year, so there's quite a bit of wheat over Australia that normally comes over to New Zealand. So
okay, well, we live in hope.
Yeah, I think the other costs that are facing all manufacturing, like the flour millers and the bakers, it's the same costs that are impacting across the whole society, like even farmers. So there's electricity, fuel, the cost of labour, all those things are impacting on every manufacturing sector, and it's just the flow on. We can't get away from it. So that's why we've got this significant inflation.
Now, there are some concerns around storage prices and costs, aren't there? Tell us about that.
What happens is the buyers pay us growers about 8 cents a tonne a day to store a tonne of wheat, and because to recognise that extra cost, but with the increased costs of interest and the cost of infrastructure and all the other costs going on, it's probably we're going to have some discussions on how we can look at having a bit more of a fairer price for the storage, I suppose. That's sort of what we're working on at the moment. So, it's the reality. Harvest only happens once a year, and then it's got to be a supply for the whole year. That all comes at cost. Yeah. So we're talking to the players about that.
Finally, I mean, you've talked about your planting is happening, and you've got what are the projections and what's the forecast for the next year? Look,
I think there's real opportunity for us to grow more wheat domestically and provide wheat to the North Island. The biggest trouble is there's the freight across the Cook Strait. So there's lots of initiatives going on to try and work out how we can do that a lot more efficiently by organising larger shipments or having consistent bit of consistency with the freighting companies, I suppose, so they always know there's something going on there. So it's a bit of chicken and egg. So we need to grow the wheat but then we need to get the infrastructure to be built, and this is about having storage intakes and having a good reliable rail service. It's the rail thing's a wee bit hit and miss at the moment. There's opportunities with coastal shipping as well. So look, that's my vision, to try and get more wheat grown domestically. It will add to New Zealand's food security. And we can have homegrown product as opposed to imported stuff.